Hello, welcome everyone to another episode of the Virtual Ninja Show. My name is Heike, and today I have three guests with me. We are going to talk about Defender for Identity deployment and some prerequisites, but also tips and tricks on how to avoid potential issues or troubleshoot them yourself. And I'm going to start alphabetically. Amanda, please introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. Very nice to meet you all. And I am an embedded escalation engineer for Microsoft Defender for Identity. I've been working Microsoft for almost 5 years. I came from support, so I'm very happy to be here and share a little bit with everyone.
Very happy to have you here. And then we have Chris.
Hey, Heike. Great to be back again. My name is Chris Ayres. I'm a principal product manager in the customer experience team. So I deal a lot with our customers during POCs and helping them get the best out of the MDI products.
Thank you. And then last but not least, Mark, welcome back as well.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mark Thomas. I'm a colleague of Chris, so we work in the same team of the customer experience engineering team. My role is to work with customers on the deployment and the adoption of Defender for Identity.
Beautiful. So I have the right people with me. Chris, we want to talk about a little bit the prerequisites for deploying Defender for Identity. Do you want to walk us through what these are and what's important for people to have in mind, to be thoughtful of when they think about and start deploying?
Sure, yeah. So Microsoft Defender for Identity is a product where it has an on-premises component. So there is a SaaS component, but there is a component which is on-prem, which means that there are requirements for customers to enable it to work with it within their environment. We do see, and we're going to talk about this, some support issues that can arise when some of the prerequisites aren't in place. We're going to talk specifically today about some of the networking requirements, because that generally is the biggest challenge that we see during POCs or with customers as we're working with them and even in deployment scenarios. So the networking requirements are important for part of the product which we call network name resolution or NNR. So NNR is a part of Microsoft Defender for Identity that allows us to do an active name resolution on a client that might be authenticating to the domain controller. So, just to set a bit of context, MDI is our identity security solution that's deployed on the domain controller. As clients authenticate, we're analyzing that for potential malicious activity and so on. And this active name resolution allows us to identify specifically who the client is. And we need that for the detections that we have within the products. It's very, very important for things like the past the ticket detection, as an example.
So I see there's multiple other name resolution or like other protocols. Like we have DNS, and we used to have the grandfather of DNS is WINS, and we have NetBIOS. And is this basically NNR the umbrella for all the different protocols that you need, or is this something different?
It's sort of related, but different. So NNR in the context of MDI is a way for us to do what we call an active name resolution. So that's where we're sending a probe directly to the source machine, and we send that probe. And we'll talk about this in a second. I've got a nice slide which sort of depicts this. We send that probe on one of we send three protocols actually, three probes. And we wait for a response of at least one of them. DNS and WINS and the rest of it are more sort of enterprise name to IP resolution capabilities. Now we can fall back on using some of those, or at least on DNS as a way to do our resolution, but it's not quite as let's say robust as what it would be to do this active name resolution. The active name resolution, because we're sending that probe, we're actually asking the machine to say, hey, what's your name? And then how the machine responds, we then get a robust, definitive answer about what the machine's name is. And it's important that we know the machine's name, because the IP address of the machine, if we just use that can change, right? A user might move from wireless network to wireless network, maybe, and change their IP address. They could be coming over VPN, where the IP address changes. So if we only rely on the IP address as a form of identifying the machine, it can lead to false positives and false negatives.
And you are not asking for a translation of something. You're actively asking for, hey, what's your name?
Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
got it.
Exactly. Yeah,
Good.
exactly. Yeah. So I've got a couple of slides which helps depict this a little bit. So if you can see in this table here, this is some of the networking requirements that we have. So we have actually 4 name resolution capabilities. So we have 3, which is the active name resolution protocols. We use either NTLM over RPC, NetBIOS, or RDP. So you can see that's an outbound connection from the domain controller to the source machines in the network. So the domain controller is a trusted host in the network, and it's the domain controller that's making that outbound connection to the source machines. And we will try all 3 protocols during name resolution. And we need at least one of those protocols to come back as affirmative to get what we call that high name resolution. And then as a fallback mechanism, if we don't get a response from one of those protocols, and then we will actually do a reverse DNS lookup. And that only gives us a low certainty because reverse DNS, it might not be fully up to date. If the client is changing its IP address, then it might not always be represented readily within the DNS system. So we use it as a fallback mechanism, but we really are relying on those 3 primary mechanisms, which is either NTLM, NetBIOS, or RDP. Just one quick point to note on this: the NTLM and the NetBIOS packets that we send are like specially crafted packets from the service. And then the RDP is just the client hello packet. So we're not actually doing like a full connection, so to speak, on those protocols. We're just sending think of it as a ping. Like we're sending like three pings to the client.
So I would assume if there's customers that are not using RDP as a remote troubleshooting tool or something, so they might have disabled that and have something different port, different protocol. But NetBIOS or NTLM is also, I don't know, for some reasons recommended to turn off and not to use. Like, is this the challenge that we have, that basically many enterprises have these protocols turned off?
Yeah, exactly that. So for whatever reason, these might be blocked either at network firewalls during strategic parts of the network, or indeed at the source machine itself. And if these protocols are blocked, then the name resolution may fail, and then that's where we can get into some challenges with the support issues, which Amanda's going to actually talk to us about a little bit. Just one last build on this slide, just to show we do have an outbound connection to the Defender for Identity service as well. That's not related to NNR. But of course, when we do the name resolution and we profile the activities, that information is then sent to the backend service, and that's done over TLS, which is the outbound connection on 443. So these are like the core networking requirements that we have to ensure that the service is functioning correctly.
Thanks, Chris. Now I'm looking at Amanda, because let's talk a little bit about what are some of the issues that our customers are running. We talked about, right, so protocols are disabled, but I think you can educate us a little bit more.
Yeah, so as Chris mentioned, NNR is super important for MDI, so we can give assurance in our detections, but we also know that it's challenging to maintain those methods. And we will always recommend to have them always on, because it's the best. But we also understand that maybe have policies, specifics, and on. So we also have ways to help you. So if you need to disable a method or understand why or what is going wrong, why you're missing, why is it failing, support is able to help you and give you all this information. And this is super important because this is a collaborative work. Of course, for example, if something is blocked in your network, we are able to give some insights, but you also need to work from our customer perspective, but we are happy to help. So we have many other solutions or tailored ways to help them to achieve. And we can also maintain our resolution on the best way, because for us, it's really essential because it gives value and avoid false positives, which is something super important.
So when you say you can help them, obviously they can open a support ticket, but do we have some tips and tricks on how they can see what kind of protocols, without running a network trace, are disabled, or not giving the right time the answer? Like, Chris, we also talked about this last time. There is that PowerShell script from Martin Schwartzman. I don't know if this helps you in this way. Amanda, you probably know it as well.
No, in this perspective for NNR, not that much, but we do have a health issue. So when you have a high level of failures, we will raise like a warning for you. Look, your level of failures is too high. Let's try to understand. We will give the sensors involved on the scenario so you can explore what happened and understand, okay, why this sensor, this server in question is failing so much. What are the methods related that are also available? And of course, as I mentioned, you can reach to support, and support can give you some extra data to help you, like, okay, what are the IPs that are failing, and can help you on the methods. But the general information is all on the healthy issues. So the health issues area, it's super important. And I advise always the customers to review it because it will always give hints and how is the state of MDI health. And we look like a clean slate, but so always checking.
Where can customers find this? Is this in the portal? Is this a tool on the domain controller, an HTML page on the domain controller? Where is that?
Is in our XDR page. So right now we have a section only for identities. Very awesome page. Please use it. And we have there a specific area for health issues. So you can check by global and specific issues. I think we are going even to explore a little bit and show it later. And we can check by each level, each type of sensor. So you are able to drill down exactly what type of issues you have right now. And by the sensors, export. So a lot of options to help you guide you through the issues. And also all the health issues have a recommendation on it.
But this already means that the agent has been deployed successfully on the domain controller, but now we basically have running issues, or like, because it might work on a specific segment or on certain clients, but not on all of them. And now we have these health issues. Is this correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So as Chris mentioned, the prerequisites are super, super important. And also missing prerequisites are something that we raise health issues because we want the best quality of information and be able to collect, to give the insights, to give the detections and activities that everyone wants to have a look. So we really try to raise any type of prerequisite issue or issues like the sensors stopped communicating so they can understand. So we have several types of health issues to help the customers to move forward and understand what's going on in their environment for Microsoft Defender for Identity. We also have as a major topic the install issues. So imagine installing a brand new sensor and you have an issue to install it. So right now we have not only the PowerShell script that helps on the prerequisites, the general prerequisites, but also the logs. The logs are super important. They are available on the install area of the sensor. So you have an folder called logs. And most of the issues are usually from prerequisites. So missing connectivity or the performance counters. So are small things that could quickly be found on the logs. And it can be easily resolved. So I always advise, check your logs. It's super fast. And you can see, for example, if you see HTTP failure, you can see it. Okay, I have a problem outside. And one important thing that I know it happens a lot is we don't support TLS inspection during the process. So this meddle with our connectivity, and it's a classical scenario that we have during the implementations. So always ensure that you have everything, let's say, configure the prerequisites. You most likely will be good to go. And have any issues, check the logs. The logs will give you the hint right away.
Okay. So I would assume, you have a documentation. It has a similar nice graphic that we just had on the screen with like all the protocols that are needed. Plus make sure that you have this bandwidth and like all these prerequisites. We have this, right? We can put a link here. Okay, good.
If I could just jump in for a second as well, I'd like to add something. We do have the two types of health issues that Amanda referenced, the global health issues and the sensor health issues. And you can see that in this slide here. The global health issues are ones that affect the entire deployment or the entire service as it is deployed within the environment. And then the sensor health issues are specific to each individual sensor So it's definitely worth, once you've deployed, coming in here into the health issues panel within the XDR portal, exploring whether you've got any open health issues, and then obviously getting the guidance there in terms of how to resolve those.
Perfect. So, Amanda, what does it mean, open and closed? Green looks for me good, but it's closed and there's no communication. Blue is like very neutral, but it says it's not enabled. This is good. Help me out.
So basically, we have those three status. For the closed ones, we mean green because you resolved the issue. So yay, we have everything ready to go. So we close it. We always maintain archives if you see a history of the alert, so you can also revisit if need and understand the status. And the open ones in blue are the ones that are still pending action. So we still see that is missing some configuration or something is happening that is affecting the health of the environment.
Okay. So this is basically a repeat of the alerts or health issue alerts that came in, and when it's not, okay, got it.
And imagine in this one is sensor level, as Chris mentioned. So we have different sensors having different types of health issues.
Okay. Thank you, Amanda. And now I'm going to look at Mark. Mark, let's have a look into the future, I guess.
Yep. So something we've done to help customers, help simplify the deployment, the configuration is this new platform agent. This brings the Defender for Identity Sensor being built into the operating system itself. So modern operating systems such as 2019 and above, the sensor is now built in. This brings some advantages around less need to configure. It's easier to deploy. We have what we call simplified deployment as well. Literally within a few clicks, you can now activate Defender for Identity on Defender for Endpoint onboarded domain controllers.
Mm-hmm.
So this really streamlines the deployment, and it also removes a lot of the complexity because there are things that you don't need to configure now with this new sensor.
Mm-hmm. But will this also solve the issue with the protocols we talked about before? Like, does this new unified platform agent not require what we had, NTLM and the others?
Yes, we use something called the Defender inventory. So if you're used to Defender XDR, we have the inventory of devices, discovered devices, onboarded devices. What we use in the new sensor is that data that we have in the inventory. So we know the IP address, we know the host name. This is all stored in the inventory. What we do is we use that data. So there's no need to then perform those queries locally using the NNR protocols.
But the IP address can change, as we talked, right? So how are you making sure you're talking to that client you wanted to talk to?
Essentially, yes. The IP address will be kept up to date by the Defender for Endpoint client. As we discover devices, as we continue to send that data for Defender for Endpoint clients, we're keeping that data and IP address, host name up to date.
Got it. Okay, yeah, because we also have that sensor check from Defender for Endpoint to make sure the machine is running and reporting the data and so on. This is pretty cool. So when can customers have a look at that unified platform agent? Or this is now for customers that have to deploy an additional sensor, for instance, for a new domain controller? Or is this for customers that just start from scratch deploying Defender for Identity? So who are we talking to here?
Yeah, so the new sensor that was announced at Ignite last year, and since then it's been in public preview. So customers can see this in the portal today, and they can see the activate option. What we'd recommend is for any customers already deployed, already using Defender for Identity, using the existing sensor, to stay where they are, keep using that. And we will come out with migration scenarios in the future. But yeah, for new customers, new domains, this is an option that should really be looked at just because of the ease of the deployment and the less complexity that comes with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so looking forward, it means at some point there will be a migration plan and basically ask customers potentially to not use the specific MDI sensor anymore, but have that unified platform agent turned on all the domain controllers. Do we have customers that have domain controllers on a lower build than, I think, what did you mention? What was the number? 19?
Yeah, 2019.
2019. So where they still require the single MDI agent?
Correct. Yeah. So if for those customers that have a mix, you can mix the sensors today. But yeah, for 2016 and below, you would still use the existing sensor. That's not supported today on the new sensor. But yeah, for any 2019 or above, 2022, 2025, you can consider the new sensor as an option for deployment.
Okay, wow. Now, Mark, that I think there is a lot more that probably customers want to know, the same as for me. So I think I would like to invite you back on the show, and then we just do a dedicated episode on talking about this unified platform agent, if that's okay with you.
Yep, sounds great.
Wonderful. So then, thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Mark, for being my experts on today's episode. I hope out there everyone got a few new infos and hit tips and tricks on how to potentially not fall into any troubleshooting issues. And if so, you got the tools that might help you to troubleshoot issues yourself, or of course, you can open a support ticket. And with that, thanks everyone. Talk soon. Bye.